Hi guys, today we'll be doing a write, present, sign for a wide range of context. The unit standard number it's 119459. In CAF level 4, there's 5 credits. It's in the field of communication studies and language. The purpose for this unit standard it's useful to learners who communicate confidently and fluently in writing, signing in almost any formal and informal situation. Competence at this level will help learners to analyze and make mature judgments about complex human, personal, social, and environmental issues to express and motivate own opinions. Learners at this level write or sign expressively and with conviction on topics of interest. They cope well with the exploration of complex themes and issues in a variety of writing or signing styles that stimulate and maintain the interest of their readers or audience. Through a drafting and editing process, their writing or signing showed significant improvement. They carefully scrutinize their own and others' writing or signing in terms of its impact on different audiences and contexts. They are also able where possible to use their multimedia technology to present rather than write or sign own text. Learners credited with this unit standard are able to write or sign effectively and creatively on a range of topics, choose language structures and features to suit communicative purposes, and lastly, edit writing or signing for fluency and unity. In session 1, write or sign for a specified audience and purpose. Learning outcomes. The purpose for writing and signing, the target audience and the context are clear in relation to the learner task or activity. The text type, the style, and the register selected are appropriate to audience, purpose, and context. Language appropriate to social cultural sensitivities is selected and used in an appropriate manner without compromising uh, own values or arguments. Writing or signing is well structured and conveys its message clearly. Critical thinking skills are used as strategies for planning. Writing or signing reflects a clear point of view with sound reason and facts to support arguments and logical development of a clearly articulated premise. Research skills are evident in the way data and information relevant to the context is identified, located, selected, and synthesized for inclusion in the final text. Important, why are you writing and who are you writing for? And why are you writing falls into four general categories. Number one, to prove, provide information, to persuade the reader, to give instruction, and to enact or prohibit something. And who you are writing for is determined by your identification of reader type and their level of expertise, i.e., are they experts, managers, or technicians? um, or lay persons as well as mixed group of readers. Reader's purpose is using the document and reader's attitude to both you and the content of your document. Writing to provide information. There are various styles to use when writing to provide information. Narrative purpose is to relate or narrate a series of real or imaginary events. Example, it tells a story. Simple language is usually the most effective. Narrative, the purpose is to relate or narrate a series of real or imaginary events. Example, it tells a story. The simple language is usually the most effective. Long passages of pure narration are rare. Without description or exposition, it soon bores the reader. Present tense may be used, but be consistent. Use the same tense throughout. Reflective writers gives own opinions on a particular topic. Writer is seeking not to establish the truth but to air his or her own opinions. Descriptive purpose is to point a clear and distinct picture of the person, place, issue, or thing being described. Expository purpose is to inform the reader. It is an explanation or process that emphasizes well organized and concise information. Be careful not to show personal feelings and report the facts as accurately as possible. Electronic text purpose is to represent, store, or transmit information by electronic systems. Multimedia presentations purpose is to write presentation to be given as slide shows or presented on the computer. The discursive the purpose is to argue about the subject. Argumentative primary purpose is to sway the reader to accept your point of view. Willing to give instructions. Transactional purpose is to get things done, to inform or persuade the reader to understand or do something. Writing to enact or prohibit something. Business correspondence, compromise letters, faxes, emails, memos, but usually letters. 10 good opening lines when writing a report or email, so forth. With with these are 10 good lines, opening lines that you should start with when writing a report or an email. Number one, with reference to the letter of the 8th June, you could continue. I'm writing to inquire about after having seen your advertisement in. I would like after having received your address from I received your address from and would like I recently wrote to you about thank you for your letter of thank you for your letter regarding or thank you for letter or email about in reply to your letter of 8th June and so forth. And these are 10 good closing lines. If you require any further information, feel free to contact me. I look forward to your reply. I look forward to hearing from you. I would look forward to seeing you. Please advise as necessary. We look forward to a successful working relationship in the future. Should you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Once again, I apologize for any inconvenience. We hope that we may continue to rely on your valued custom. I would appreciate your immediate attention to this matter. You're faithfully and when you're sincerely in a business letter, when they are included, recipient's name is unknown to you. Dear sir or madam yours faithfully. Recipient's name is known to you, and so forth. Format of a business letter. This is the format of a business letter. This is an illustration of the format of a business letter. You'll go through this on your own. Reader type and their level of expertise. Where are the readers from? Are they from within the organization or from outside? Are they from the same social cultural group or do they form a mixed group where various sensitivities may be present? Are they experts? Are they managers or technicians or laypersons? Readers' purpose in using the document. Do they have to read your work or do they want to read your work? Readers' attitude towards you and the content of the document. Are they positive or negative towards you? Do you hold a higher position? Is there some reward in it for them? Does it mean more work? Does it mean more work needs to be done, or does it make them feel more positive or more negative? Writer's choice of text type, style, and register. How we present and tell depends on the purpose of the written task. At the beginning of this unit, we looked at the purpose of writing a task, and please refer. We've got the style is the manner in which a writer addresses a matter, a manner which reveals the writer's personality or voice. Text types are used to achieve the above style. There are 10 basic text types, namely description, discussion, explanation, exposition, information, report, narrative, poetry, procedure, recount, and response. A register reflects the situation and determines the most appropriate language Socio-cultural sensitivities must be kept in mind so that offensive language is not used. Writing must convey the message clearly. In order to convey a message clearly, you need to understand the communication model. This is the communication model, and we've done this on our previous unit standards. The sender the sender is the speaker or writer. The message is the symbol and the signs which are actually transmitted. The receiver is the listener or reader. Feedback is the signs the receiver projects while the sender is sending the message. The environment is the physical, social, and emotional influences, often referred to as a noise that the communication takes place in. Uh, Critical thinking skills are to be used as strategies for planning. Brainstorming is when different people who have a vested interest in the matter get together and share thoughts and ideas on a specific topic. These thoughts and ideas should not be premeditated. The following guidelines apply to ensure a successful session. You go through that on your own. This is an illustration of a mind map of a brainstorming. Sorry, of a brainstorming. Mind maps are tools which help you think and learn. It involves writing down a central idea or topic and thinking up new and related ideas which radiate out from the center. Here are the guidelines to help you to do this successfully. You go through this on your own, and this is an example of a mind map. Spider diagrams are useful because they allow you to think about the main idea and then how the ideas are seen to present elsewhere. This is an illustration of a spider diagram. Highlighting it's what I often use on presentation. I highlight like here. Highlighting word sentences or phrases enables you to see what is important or relevant in the text at a glance. As I've said, this is an illustration of highlighting. Research skills focuses what is my research challenge or purposes, what are the critical questions, define the topic statement, find and filter, locate different types of resources or formats, decide which resources might be suitable, work with the information, read the review, listen, interpret, record, and organize, communicate, prepare final results, prepare work cited list, reflect what did we learn about the topic, how does this new knowledge fit in a wider context, and yep, let's go to session 2. Use language structures and features to produce coherent and cohesive text for a wide range of context learning outcomes. Meaning is clearly expressed through the use of a range of sentences, structures, lengths, and types. The use of paragraph conventions and links between paragraphs in text promotes coherence and cohesion in writing or signing. Their use is explained with reference to logical progression, cause and effect, and or contrast. The overall structure of a piece of writing or signing is controlled, and the conclusion is clearly formulated. For you to be able to produce coherent and cohesive text, there are certain things you need to do. Make your paragraphs coherent. If necessary, rearrange sentences for better paragraph flow and logic. Use the active voice whenever the passive voice is not clearly more appropriate. The two fundamental parts of every English sentence are the subject and the predicate. A simple sentence can also be described as a group of words expressing a complete thought. This is an example. What makes a complete sentence? Number one, simple sentences. A simple sentence contains a singular subject and predicate. This is an example of that. We've got examples. You'll go through this on your own. Compound sentences. Compound sentences are made up of two or more simple sentences combined using a conjunction such as and or but. Got that example, you go through that on your own. Complex sentences. Complex sentences describe more than one thing or idea and and have more than one verb in them. The anatomy of a sentence, the verb. The verb is a fundamental part of the sentence. The rest of the sentence, with the exception of the subject, depends very much on the verb. A verb is to tell something or to do something. You go through this on your own. The subject is the person or thing the sentence is about. Often it will be the first part of the sentence. The subject will usually be a noun phrase followed by a verb. The predicate, once you have identified the subject, the remainder of the sentence tells us what the subject does or did. This part of the sentence is the predicate of the sentence. The predicate always includes the verb and the words which come after the verb. Parts of a sentence, description and adjective and adverb and so forth. You go through this to have a deeper meaning of these parts of sentences and an understanding of these parts of sentences. Paragraph conventions organize writing with the beginning, middle, and ending. A paragraph should have a topic. Sentence is a topic. Sentence is a sentence whose main idea controls the rest of the paragraph and is usually the first sentence of the paragraph, but not necessarily. It may even be at the end of the paragraph. Have a body. The body of a paragraph explains, develops, or supports with evidence. The topic sentence's main idea usually consists of supporting ideas. Be coherent. Supporting ideas must clearly relate to the topic sentence. When sentences are connected or organized in a paragraph, a reader can easily follow a writer's train of thought. Conjunctions, as their name implies, conjunctions join together elements of thought, words, phrases, sentences, and paragraphs. Conjunctions, adverbs, make up an even stronger category of conjunctions. They show logical relationships between the two independent sentences, between sections of paragraphs, or between entire paragraphs. Relative pronouns and relative adjectives are also used to join ideas together by creating adjective or noun clauses, which allow a reader to create smoother, more flowing, and effective sentences by combining ideas. These are relative pronouns and relative adjectives. Please look into them and check the examples as well. Adverbs of time, place, and sequences are actually transitions of logic, but as such, they also have conjunction force because they connect ideas by showing a time relationships. Adverbs of times, look through that also. Expletives are closely related to conjunction adverbs. The official line on expletives is that they convey no meaning of their own, but instead serve only to emphasize the statement to which they are attached. These are expletives. An example: pronouns are words that can replace or substitute a noun or a noun phrase. Conclusion: the first and the last impression are important in any part of life, especially in writing. Let's go to session 3. Draft on writing or signing and edit to improve clarity and correctness. The learning outcomes. Session 3. Writing or signing produced is appropriate to audience, purpose, and context. Corrections are an improvement on the original. Control of grammar, diction, or clarity of sentence and paragraph structure is checked and adopted for consistency. Logical sequencing of ideas and overall unity are achieved through redrafting. There is clear evidence that major grammatical and linguistic errors are edited out in redrafts. Inappropriate or potentially offensive language is identified and adopted or removed. Experimentation with different layouts and opinions for presentation is appropriate to the nature and the purpose of the task. Drafting is essential because it allows you to put down your initial thoughts and then to refine them into a coherent piece of writing by redrafting until you are satisfied with the completed product. Steps to follow: You go through this on your own. Editing is when you check your essay for mistakes and correct them. Chapter headings are place chapter headings at the top of a new page. Subsections are like chapters. Do not start on a new page, but are separated from preceding section by an empty line. Quoting means reporting someone else's words. Um, and remember to use quotation or marks or inverted commas at the beginning and at the end of the actual words that were spoken. Write the way you talk to your reader, simply talk on paper. So we're done with this unit standard. Let's go to learn our book. Activity 1. Which of the forms of written communication have you used before? State one example and explain why this form of communication was chosen. We all know that there are often mistakes in the letters that we receive. Why do you think that it is important that such mistakes do not occur? You'll answer that. We'll answer that for activity 1. State one example and explain why this form of communication was chosen. You'll answer that. Activity 2. Write down a list of things that you will need to do to be able to put forward a good report to the senior management. Activity 3. Your group has came together to have its preliminary think tank about researching the need for a childcare center. The task, having done some thinking on the topic, plan the major steps of the project. Decide how you are going to gather this information. We need to ask people questions, but how are you going to do this? Also, what are you going to do with the information gathered? By the end of this session, you must have documented the questions you are going to ask in whichever format you choose. This must be ready for your facilitator to assess. So we'll come up with a research project for the need of a child care center. You need to plan. You need to plan the major steps for the project. For this project, the tasks that you are given, you need to follow these tasks. You decide how you are going to gather this information. You need to ask people questions, not really, but you'll think outside of the box. But how are you? You also have to also have to gather information. You must document the question you are going to ask in whichever format you choose. Activity 4. Do you think that brainstorming in a group always works? If it's yes and or no, provide the reasons for your answer. Activity 6. Following this creative writing process, write an essay on your experiences at the service of a bank personnel. Draw a mind map with all paragraph topics and points. That's it. Summative and formative questions are the same. You just have to copy and paste. And yep, we are done with this unit standard. Thank you for tuning in. I hope if there are any questions you would like to clarify on, feel free to ask. And thank you.